What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers obviously have a need at the center position. They're looking to trade for a clear-cut starting center, which if you want a long-term answer as your starting center, you're going to have to do it via trade. But the backup role is something that the Lakers, really need to solve and fill as well. Talked about it from basically day one. Lakers need two centers. They need that clear-cut starter and then ideally a clear-cut backup that you could have for multiple years. Right now it appears the Lakers are heavily active on a Clint Capella as well as a Brook Lopez in that backup role. They kind of want more of a veteran style center. Lakers are expected to keep Christian Koloko as well as Trey Jamison. Maybe one or both are brought onto the roster, and depending on unrestricted or undrafted, players in this draft, right? Because got to think both those guys are on two ways. Maybe the Lakers bring up one or bring up both to the main roster on like vet minimum deals, kind of fill out the roster. Again, we've seen this Lakers team can't have too many big men. But again, ideally you'd like to solve your center position with a more veteran guy. However, if there is a potential where you're not able to get Clint Capella and you're not able to get Brook Lopez, right? So then what route do you go? I've talked about like a Jericho Sims, right? Because he's kind of the ideal high flyer, right? He's not like a floor spacer. He's not this like offensive sound big, but like alongside Luka, he's ideal, right? You can just throw it up and he can go get it and slam it and hammer it home, block some shots, do some stuff. But another guy that I'd love to see the Lakers really give a shot to, because he's been on the Lakers, been on several teams, right? And every time he plays, he actually does really well. So I don't really get it. Is Moses Brown. So Moses Brown, he's 25. He'll be 26 going into next season. So he's still young, right? He's a legit 7'2" center that's got good size, good strength, right? He's a guy that I would love to see. Just what does he look like if he's given a real shot, a real chance? The closest he's gotten to a real shot, a real chance, was with the Dallas Mavericks this past year, in a real role, and he got only 4 games. He averaged 18 minutes per game. He averaged 7.3 field goals per game, right? And it was all twos. He shot 72.4% from the field in those attempts, right? Free throw shooting 83.3% on 1.5 attempts. Averaged 8 rebounds, including 2 offensive rebounds, half an assist, a full steal, a full block, and 12 points per game. The guy was a 12-8 guy in 18 minutes of action. Right? You look at his per 36. Now, obviously, this doesn't tell the whole story. This doesn't tell the whole picture, but it kind of gives you an idea of what would he look like if he was a full-time starter role. His stats would be 23 points, 15 rebounds, including 4 offensive rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1.5 blocks per game. And he's a career 16 and 15 guy. Right? He's got the real size, the real strength, the real athleticism, all those things. You're talking about a guy that's 7'2", 250, right? He can rebound, he can position. Every time he's given a real opportunity, he plays well. That was his best season by far, but it was also the most real opportunity. It was the most minutes he played for his career before that. In OKC, he played his second season 21.4 minutes, and he was an 8 and 9 guy. Right, on 6.2 attempts, right? So even that wasn't bad, right? As a backup center, and again, this was literally year 2, right? So again, what does he look like if given a real chance, if given a real opportunity at the center position? I'm not saying he's your answer at the starting center position. I'm not saying you come in and bring him in and play him 30 minutes a night or anything like that. I'm looking at him simply as you. If I'm being honest too, I'd probably rather go with Clint Capella, right? Even over a Jericho Sims, even over any of these guys, I'd probably rather go with the Clint Capella, assuming the Lakers solve their center position with a Nick Claxton or whatever, right? Because I like the idea of a veteran center in a backup role that has experience, that has been there and done that, and one that can give you real production, right? Clint Capella's proven. He's proven on even the highest of levels, right? And you're talking about a guy that is a double-double guy still even, right? And one of the best offensive rebounders in all of basketball, right? So if you got your clear-cut answer at the center position, right, and let's just call it a Nick Claxton or something like that, and then brought in Clint Capella, perfect. But again, there might be a team that goes like, hey, Lakers can only offer, 5.6 million or 6 million, whatever the taxpayer mid-level is. And, another team goes like, hey, we'll give you 8 million, right? He's like, yeah, let me go there, right? So also you look at a team like Golden State, they could really use a center. Do they go to Clint Capella and go, hey, we'll start you? Like, we can only give you the same thing that the Lakers could do, but we'll start you rather than we're on the Lakers, you be a backup, right? Who knows what kind of minutes you're going to get and stuff like that. We're here, you'll be our full-time starter, right? So, like, there is the potential the Lakers just don't get a guy like him. So now you're looking at the free agency market, and at that point, you need to take a flyer on some guys. And Moses Brown showed in a real opportunity production moment, he can give you real production, right? Like, I would love if the Lakers could pull something like that off. If the Lakers could give him a fair shake and chance and just see, like, what can he do? What can he provide? Again, to be a guy that in limited minutes for you gave you, again, in 18 minutes, he was 12 points and 8 rebounds. In 18 minutes, right? Like, now you might think that that's unsustainable. He'll be playing alongside Luka Doncic. Like, to think that he won't be a 10-point-a-game guy alongside Luka Doncic, I think would be silly, right? Like, because again, Luka's every minute that Moses Brown is on that basketball court with Luka, he's always in the action. Because Luka is always looking for that guy. Luka, that's what he does, is he creates that dribble penetration, gets into the defense, defense collapses every time he can. He's throwing that lob threat up. And a guy like Moses Brown, who can just get up there, he's got the athleticism, he's got the height, the length, everything, the size to just finish through contact, all of that. I mean, the guy would, I think he would be excellent. I really do. I think he's a guy that you should look at. He's young enough to be, if it works, he can be kind of this long-term answer for you, even in a backup role. I talk about a guy that you could have for the next 10 years, literally, or 8 years, whatever, right? You figured 34 years old, right? Like, so, again, like, he's a guy that you could slot in. And again, Lakers, I've talked about it Lakers are going to have to take flyers on guys like this. Lakers are going to have to take chances on guys like this. Lakers are going to have to find those diamonds in the rough to where, you're taking a flyer on a guy like a Moses Brown who come in and hope that maybe he can replicate what he did in Dallas. Right? It's like, hey, if he gets a consistent role for more than just 4 games, like, is that 4-game stint, was that just an outlier, or is that something that he could do regularly? But you look at some of these seasons, right? In 9 minutes of action, right? Total, because you look at Indiana, he was like 3, but he only played 5 minutes a game, right? So, like, you look at Cleveland, right? 12 minutes of action. He was a 6-6 guy, right? So, again, like, you don't think that off the bench, he could be a 10-6 guy or a 10-8 guy, right? Give you a block shot or two. Right? Like, again, this is a guy that for his career is 6-5 with half a steal, half a block, and just just under 12 minutes of action. So for his career, even, which, again, it's not like super exciting. He's been a journeyman. He hasn't played a ton of opportunity. Like, he's only played 163 games. So he's only played 2 seasons worth since 2019. Right? So, not even, I guess 2 seasons worth. But, again, he's averaging 12 minutes per game and is basically a 6-6 guy. Like, Lakers, that would have been, like, more than enough off the bench last year, right? For a team that just didn't have anything. And so I look at a guy like a Moses Brown, and I get, like, what do you have to, like, give him a non-guaranteed so you can waive him if you need to. Sign him to, like, a 2-year contract or something with a team, non-guaranteed in both years and a team option next year, right? Or I guess if you have non-guaranteed, you just waive him regardless, right? Like, then you have nothing to lose. If it works and he's great, beautiful. You keep him. If not, then maybe you're just adding him as salary filler in a trade because the team can just waive him whenever they want, right? You can maybe pull something like that off, or you just, finish the season and you go and just cut him, and now you free up the roster spot. Or maybe, maybe somebody, a trade becomes available and you want these two guys and you need to clear a roster spot, so you just waive them, right? Moses Brown just wants to play. You don't think that if he gets an opportunity, like, hey, man, like I can be their primary backup, right? Like I'll sign that non-guaranteed deal. Let's go, right? It's better than anything else. If worst case, I'm just back to where I'm at right now, playing in the G League. Right? So again, to me, it's like, it's low risk, high reward. Best case scenario, he replicates what he did in Dallas for those 4 games, right? Worst case scenario, he's just not it. Again, at worst, you're going to get a 6-6 guy off the bench. At worst. In basically 10 minutes of action, he's going to give you 6 points and 6 rebounds. At worst. Take a flyer on him. What do you have to lose? Especially for a team that literally has no centers on contract. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question. You let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out as we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.